Welcome back to the Rich Eisen Show, not just to those of you who are watching and listening, but to the man to my right who plays and is the star and is the writer and executive producer of Brockmire on IFC. Good to see you once again, Hank Azaria.
Thank you, Rich Eisen. Although I did not write, I wrote the short.
Joel Church
wrote
Cooper.
The short with many friends. I think every friend I have except for you, I wrote the short.
Well, but I was in the short.
You were in the short. You were an actor, yes.
The Funny or Die short from which Brockmire was born. I did that, and then the podcast version of this show from which this show was born. You showed up as Brockmire.
Many a time.
To just swing at that low-hanging fruit named Tim Tebow.
Mostly to trash Tim Tebow.
And then for the media day, prior to Seahawks Broncos, unleashed you as Jim Brockmire in the hockey arena there in Newark, where they had the media day.
Appropriately.
Which player that you approached as Brockmire or any figure was the most confused by you and your line of questioning when you were there that day?
I would give the most confused award to Peyton Manning, who looked terrified. I think he actually recognized. He had no idea what was happening, and who could blame him? It's like, why is the Simpsons guy in a plaid jacket talking like that, asking me impertinent, irreverent questions? Wes Welker was the funniest.
Okay.
When I asked him something about
what goes on at the bottom of the pile.
Right. What goes on at the bottom of a pile, and he said somebody once grabbed him down there. And I said, that could be the worst thing or the best thing that ever happened. And he took a beat and said, it depends on who's doing it. So I'll give him funniest of the day. And Golden Tate wanted to kill me.
Why did Golden Tate?
Because I asked him if he was aware, Rich Eisen, that the Golden Taint is an award at the Adult Film Awards. And he did not take kindly to that.
So he didn't know that was happening. So he taint unaware is what you were saying. He taint aware.
He wasn't taint having none of it.
Chris Berman also confused.
Now, you were there, Law, physically with him producing, right? Chris Berman was totally confused as to what was happening, right?
He was
because he was on the floor. He just was interviewed because he was doing interviewing, and that's the media days. Even the interviews were interviewed.
Given how much we obviously were annoying him, he was extraordinarily gracious in giving us an interview. So it's very glass half full or half empty, depending on how you look at that.
Hank Azaria here in the Rich Eisen Show studio. Congratulations on the first season of Brockmire. I mean, it was renewed by IFC day it aired, correct?
Yeah.
Or broadcast for the first time.
Yes.
Because you snuck some out on YouTube and things of that nature, right? We got a little bit of a preview.
We had like a run up on Funny or Die had it up for a little while,
right?
And they picked us up the day we premiered officially.
Congrats on all of that, man.
Thanks, man.
And it's funny how sometimes life can imitate art, and it seems like what happened with your beloved Mets and Mr. Met could be ripped straight from a Brockmire episode, don't you think?
Yeah, he had a Brockmire-like meltdown, didn't he? Yeah,
Mr. Met had a Brockmire-like meltdown when he flipped the bird with the middle of his forefingers. It was kind of strange.
Yeah, it's amazing how I guess the guy's had a lot of practice, and he can make a middle finger out of four fingers somehow. But he did it, and got fired. I guess that guy got fired.
What'd you make? Because we're showing it on the screen right here. He used one hand to put
but he still seems delightedly thrilled, doesn't he? It's like, hey, F you, my friend. I love you, and screw you all at once.
But in order to put the other three fingers down to create said middle finger, he needed to kind of do the Bafangul sort of, move that we did back in grade school, with the hands.
Have you seen Jim Brockmire interviewing Mr. Met? Is that something you've seen?
I don't believe I've seen that.
Are we live? Can we pull that up?
We could pull somewhat of that up, but
let's. But it's all you can actually family friendly. That Mr. Met interview.
Is that right?
Brockmire interviews Mr. Met, and I think it was that exchange that might have led Mr. Met to his downfall. Either that or Lenny Dykstra. One of the two of us had a bad influence on Mr. Met.
And so how did that interview come about? How did Brockmire land that exclusive with Mr. Met, Hank? How did that happen?
About a year ago, Jim Brockmire, the Mets asked me to do some content like what I interview players, and I said, well, can Jim Brockmire do it? And they said, all right.
Right.
And then it ended up having to be between Verizon sponsoring it and the Mets worrying about. We kind of learned that if you pull the reins on Jim Brockmire too hard, it's not all that funny. but it still was kind of fun.
Okay.
But the interview with Mr. Met, because it was so silly, and I ended up talking to Neil Walker and Jerry Familia and Wilmer Flores and DeGrom and Steven Matz, and that was all okay. But the interview with Mr. Met was delightfully moronic and was really funny.
Was Mr. Met, could he talk? Or he didn't?
No, that's partly what was lovely about it. Is I had to interpret what Mr. Met was doing.
How would it work on the radio right now, Hank? Would that
That wouldn't be good. Well, you describe what Mr. Now he's putting his hands on his head, indicating that he has a headache. Mr. Met's got a headache now. That kind of thing.
Oh my God! So Matt Harvey would not be interviewed by Brockmire, because I would pay to see Jim Brockmire interviewing Matt Harvey, after a night where a supermodel may not have continued a relationship with him, and he's in his pajamas missing a start. That Matt Harvey.
Well, I don't know if you caught Jim Brockmire doing the ESPN broadcast, but that was just after Matt Harvey had been suspended.
Is that?
And I said, so to get this clear, Matt Harvey was suspended for 3 days for not showing up to the ballpark, which proves that you literally cannot pay somebody to watch a Mets game.
What do the Wilpons think of that sort of joke? What do they?
I don't know, but ESPN has invited me back.
Okay.
We're working now to do some more innings, really in full Brockmire getup. Like they really actually want Jim Brockmire this time. I'm like, are you sure?
Mm-hmm. Well, what do you think of the Mets' chances? Do you think this year of wild card? Because I think the NL East that's the way that.
Yeah,
one
barring some kind of injury meltdown on the Nats' part, but I don't know the Rockies and Dodgers and and Diamondbacks all look pretty tough.
Yes, they do.
I think the Mets, they've had a very good last few days of pitching now that Matz is back and Lugo's back. And Gazelman seems to have found himself again.
By the way, Gesundheit, by the way.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
So, and I think, and their offense has been good. I think the Mets have a chance. You know what I think?
Yes.
I think I have a prediction.
Okay.
I think they're gonna get back to 500 fairly soon. I think they're gonna make a run at the wild card. But even in the last 20, 30 games, they dropped 4 or 5 that even within that bad streak, they just shouldn't have. Mm-hmm. I think those games are going to come back to haunt them, and it's going to be a little too much to overcome.
That's the prediction, the Hank Azaria prediction.
I think they're going to make a nice run at it, though.
And how about the Yanks? How about Aaron Judge?
I try to ignore that's happening.
Come on now. You got to give it up.
Come on now.
Just because the Mets have had that renaissance and the Yankees took that dip, now maybe we can meet in the middle.
I'm very, very bitter.
Come on.
This was supposed to be the Mets' year, and the Mets were going to own the town, and now the Yankees surprisingly have. I find myself rooting for the Yankee demise.
Have you heard any of John Sterling's Aaron Judge home run calls?
Oh, no.
Please don't play
what is it, judge and jury?
Hold on. We got
his home run call should just be, I'm insufferable. He should just say that.
That's a horrible home run call.
It is deep. It is far. I am horrible. That should be his home run
No, it's a horrible home run call. Do we have one for Hank, please? Can we? Here we go. This is a good one. Go for it. Roll it.
Swung on and drilled to deep right field. It is high. It is far. It is gone. He hit a bullet line drive over the auxiliary scoreboard in right center. He is putting on the most amazing display I think I've ever seen. Here comes the judge. This is Judgment Day.
Now, Brockmire would totally tip his cap to that, don't you think?
No.
Thank you, Hank. Thank you, sir.
I don't. In fact, Jim Brockmire, you know what?
What do
I
you
think
say?
in season 2 or 3, Jim Brockmire is going to have to come after Mr. Sterling a little bit.
Yes.
I don't know why. We already took down Musburger.
You did.
Let's go after John Sterling.
Was it Musburger now has a mustache or something?
Well, I want to take a break. When we come back, again, we don't want to go there again. In 60 seconds, I want to talk about season 2 Brockmire with you and my bae, Amanda Pete.
Oh, yeah. Therein lies the tale.
Back in 60 seconds. We heard that. Yeah, I heard that story. That's next here on The Rich Eisen Show. Okay, welcome back to the Rich Eisen Show. Hank Azaria here in studio for another segment. Brockmire renewed for a second season, and as you were alluding to in the previous segment, Hank, I mean, you've been all over the place. You've been selling the soap and pushing this.
I've been out there hawking it.
It's a passion project, and it is paying off for you, and we're thrilled about that. And so I got a text from you and then Dan Patrick last week. Woke up one morning out here on the West Coast saying that there was an event at the 92nd Street Y.
Correct.
That Dan moderated.
Right.
With you and
the lovely Amanda Peet,
who plays your love interest.
Jules.
And boss.
Yes, and boss.
In,
right.
in Brockmire. And I will now leave the floor to you to tell the rest of the story, Hank, because I'm keen to hear the details.
I mean, it pains me to say this almost as much as having to sit through John Sterling home run calls. But
come on now.
Come on now, what? But you know, there we are, me and Dan Patrick. We're minding our own business, talking about Brockmire to a crowd of people at 92nd Street Y, and somehow your name came up.
How did my name come up?
I think we were talking about who participated in the short, like Dan did, and Amanda turned to me and said, "Is Rich Eisen gonna be in season 2?" And I said, "I don't know. We tried to get him for season 1, but the schedule thing didn't work out." And she said, "Oh, can he please be in season 2? I've got such a crush on him." That's what Amanda Peet said. And I said, "I'm sorry, I have to have my hearing checked because I could swear that you just said, I have such a crush on him." But she did. That's what she's got, a big old crush on Rich Eisen.
Now, what's the problem with that you say it's tough for you to...
Utterly shocking. I mean, this was like... I was like, well, you like balding, nerdy Jews?
Well,
What's
maybe
the story?
she does.
I guess so.
Maybe she's married to one.
Maybe she is. And she's in love with one on television.
Look at this.
She's got the trifecta. Balding, nerdy Jews.
But that was the problem I had, is that Dan told the story on his show, and he made the Danettes guess who it is, and they couldn't guess who it was. And then when it was revealed... You know,
was that how it went down?
Shocked. And then you used the word shocked in your text, too. And I'm like, excuse me, I think that's a little bit strong of a word. Come on now.
Maybe strong, but accurate.
So when are you shooting season 2, Hank?
Season 2 will be, just so you know, will be in the Atlanta area, probably in October. So, you know, I would plan ahead.
Hold on a second.
Atlanta, Rich.
Thursday Night Football is coming to Atlanta.
Is that right?
This fall.
In October? Don't know.
Can you guys look it up so I don't put Hank on the pay no mind list to turn to my computer here to the left? You have the Google actually directly in front of you. Yes, there is a Thursday Night Football game, Saints at Falcons, in their beautiful new facility down there. If you'd like tickets, I can make you sit in one place, and then I'll put Amanda and I in a luxury suite.
December 7th.
Is that
possible? Oh, that's too late.
Is it really?
We'll never be there then. Yeah, that's too late.
But we also have your pending battle with Mr. Freeze.
Yeah,
did you hear
about that'll be before they shoot. Have you seen the new mascot that the Atlanta Braves have?
I've heard about this.
Where they have fans come out of the stands and run foul pole to foul pole, you know, along the warning track.
Yeah.
And once they get 200 yards in, they release this character dressed like Gimp-like. True story. It's on your screen right here. And he runs. He's a member of the grounds crew who is a 200-meter world-class sprinter.
Wow.
And he comes and you try and beat him despite getting a 200-yard head start. And then radio audience, we're showing the moment where the fan realizes he's about to get past at the very end by the freeze. And then face plants. So
wow.
I'm thinking I'm going to do that.
You're going to challenge that guy?
Well, I mean, for charity.
If that young kid got smoked like that, what chance do you possibly have?
None at all.
Should we dangle a picture of Amanda Peet in front of you? Maybe that'll
Nice.
The carrot, if you will, on the stick.
Yeah.
If one will. We could try that. Yeah, but I don't know if the scheduling's going to work here. But I'd love to try season 2. I mean, it'll be Who else? Do you have anybody lined up or anything
We
like
know
that?
Joe Buck is going to be back.
Okay, that's
Bob
good.
Costas has become a fan of the show and
Costas is
continually, really genuinely lobbies us to be part of season 2. So,
What about Musburger? What about Musburger?
I'm literally afraid to approach. I don't know that he'd think it was funny what would happen. What happened season 1. Do you think we should
What if Musburger did because his new thing is Vegas gambling. He's got that site prop bets on Brockmire getting back to the big leagues.
Well, you don't need to workshop it for him to make it natural fit. I mean, we could leave that up.
Do you got anybody know? Do you know? Remember?
Yeah, he's
do you
been on
think
the
he
show.
would find that stuff funny?
I think he would.
I think he's. I think
he's got a good sense of humor.
Yeah, he's got a great sense of humor. Yeah.
All right. Well, good.
He plays Brent Mustangburger in Cars. I mean, he must have some sort of,
Does he
room for the
really?
command
Yes, he does.
center
I did not know
And
that.
Costas is in
that
that
Cars
too.
3?
All of them.
He's always Brent
Mustangburger.
How'd I miss that?
I don't know,
I
Hank.
don't know either.
You got to come here for your Cars news.
I guess I do.
Yeah, we can work on that for you.
All
Let's
right,
do
yeah.
that. I would love to. I would love to. It would be my honor to present Musburger
To make that
yes,
marriage?
not only because it would be a perfect blend of your show with a bona fide star of the profession, but he's also no threat to me with Amanda.
Well,
You know
as
what
far
I'm-
as you know.
As far as
I mean, if she likes
far as
you,
I
how far away is it from Musburger, really?
I think it's a few Kevin Bacons.
No, it's not 6 degrees.
It's not that. I would think it would be as many, quite frankly.
No.
The command center was wondering if we do get Musburger on board for this. If Rich reaches out, we go through, and he agrees. Does the command center then get a cameo as well in the same episode, along with our esteemed colleague Del Tufo?
I'm in.
You're going to have an opposing
You're
team.
in? Yeah. I'd have thought you'd been harder to get than that.
Thank you, Hank.
There's going to be an opposing team, opposing players that you're going to need extras for.
Yeah.
Well, we can talk.
Okay.
Yeah. By the way, being +3 is a major anchor on me right now. It's like it's like a block of cement tied to my ankle in the sea of Brockmire.
I'm just glad you didn't ask that in connection with whatever might happen with Amanda Pete, because that would be really awkward.
Before I do let you go, watching the NBA Finals, how far the
You mispronounced that.
What?
The NBA.
Come on. So have you?
I'm sorry. Did somebody say NBA?
You fell asleep on sleep takes.
Sleep take. There you go. No charge for that. Those were sleep takes.
Do you still have the business cards that say sleep take on it that you hand to people?
Andrew Newman, our friend Andrew Newman, still has many of them.
Hank would walk up to people with a business card that just says sleep take on it and hand it to you. If you were being unfunny or you were boring him, just hand you a card that says sleep take on it, which he just made a sleep
That
take.
was a sleep take.
So if you had the card, you would have handed it to me just the mention of the NBA Finals.
I would have.
That's pretty good.
Yes.
No, Hank though, the Knicks, have you given up on him then? Or
Yes,
what?
I have given up on him because I'm a sane human being.
I bet.
Well,
They're so far away.
Whether you're a Knick fan or a Celtic fan or a San Antonio fan, I ask you, Rich Eisen,
Yes, Hank.
what difference does it make?
That's true.
It's all rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic call that's going to be Cavs, Warriors next year's 2, and the Warriors will probably win that in 5.
But the Knicks, pardon me, I just went through that. By the way, that sounds like my mom going through all the children's name before she got to mine. The Knicks are so light years away from even being in the mix. At least you name 3 teams that have a shot, a prayer of a shot.
They're
to do
good
that.
teams, but they don't really have a prayer of a shot of beating the Warriors. Now, do they?
I don't think so.
Right. So I think that's incredibly boring.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, how do you feel about that? How do you guys like? I know there's folks in the camp. You got to go.
No. We had a major discussion about it.
Are you
on
in
our
the camp of
previous show.
it's wonderful theater, it's a dynasty and its history?
No, I'm not into it.
Yeah, I think
Or
it's
is
bad.
it just boring?
Long term for the NBA. You have 25 fan bases that are alienated.
Yeah.
You know they have no shot going in. Maybe
Right.
even 27, to be honest.
I think it would have been more interesting had they had a little tougher go in the playoffs, like had Utah won a game or one of these other, or San Antonio giving them a battle. But 15 and 1, come on.
And then, but Michael Wilbon was on the show yesterday, and he said that this is great, that the NBA, you're used to dynastic teams. You're used to Bird versus Magic. You're used to Bill Russell winning 11 championships, that it is a hallmark of the NBA to have dynastic teams to bring fans into the tent. And you do not agree with that.
I do not. I heard, I think it's Rod Parker, is that his name? Pushing back on that somewhere.
Okay.
That those teams were challenged. Maybe I don't know about the Russell Celtics. I didn't observe all that go down. There were 9 teams then, right? I don't know. Seriously, literally.
Right, and 3 teams had a minion, I think, to make up their roster.
It wasn't my yeshiva team that they were playing, but it wasn't that much above.
Right.
But I mean, what was great about those teams? He made the comparison like Ali versus Holmes. Ali, you think of him as the greater fighter because he was, those battles he was involved in, where Holmes, he was undefeated, but nobody challenged him. And this is sort of, I just can't, it's like next year, who is it, like Kevin Durant and Godzilla and God and a tornado on the court against everybody else?
Yeah, it sounds like that, like Sharknado beats the NBA, and then all of a sudden that's a chance for you to actually win a championship.
Well, exactly.
So,
and the TV ratings are way down. I guess the finals ratings were pretty darn good.
They were. Well, because it was That is true. I agree with you. And then there's Brockmire on IFC. Season finale was back in May. You renewed for a second season. You got any Simpsons news you can drop here at all?
I do not. It's been a good season. We're recording season 29.
That's ridiculous.
I know we'll do season 30. And then I'm not sure beyond that. We'll probably know that within the year, whether we'll go on beyond that.
And is it true Harry Shearer did some voiceover work for Brockmire?
He did Vin Scully in I believe it's episode... I don't remember which one, but young Brockmire, you flash back to him at the hands of his abusive alcoholic father, and he kind of retreats into a Vin Scully broadcast as kind of his happy place, and it's Harry Shearer. It's amazing. You can't tell the difference between Harry Shearer and Vin Scully. I mean, it's so perfect, that impression.
That's
I'm
great.
surprised we didn't get sued, frankly.
Well, if Vin was a litigious man,
yes.
perhaps he's not.
But we got him because it's Harry Shearer.
Well, let me know when you're shooting season 2, okay? And we'll see if we can make it happen.
I hope so.
Because, you got to give the people what they want.
By the people, you mean Amanda Peet.
That's correct, yes.
That's right.
That is exactly
All right.
correct.
Susie, Rich's wife, if you're watching.
She's okay.
Yeah, what's best case scenario here for you, Rich, with Amanda Peet?
That I get to hang out on the set of season 2 of Brockmire. What else are you guys going for?
I can't wait for the text from Susie.
Get your mind out of the gutter.
I'm sure this isn't far-fetched. I can work out some deal where Rich does the show, everybody's happy, and you guys, get to love on Amanda Peet. I'm sure that's no problem.
Amanda mentioned, from what I was told, Amanda mentioned Susie at the 92nd Street Wild.
I
she
think
knows
that's
us.
Correct.
Okay.
That is absolutely correct.
This is a harmless.
So it's all on the up and up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because
until it's not.
In the same way that I love my wife, I know I didn't create Game of Thrones either. I understand what time it is, Hank. But I'd also appreciate my friends being more appreciative of this news instead of saying
more
that they're shocked
and less shocked by it.
Yes, and equate it to a John Sterling home run call.
Yeah. Don Sterling should call the final season of Game of Thrones, I feel.
Yeah.
The wall is high. It is far.
It's icy.
It is the mother of dragons. Thanks.
And here comes the White Walker.
Hank Azaria, you're a gem. Thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me, Rich.
At Hank Azaria on Twitter. Everybody follow him.
Yeah, I don't know how I thought of that Twitter handle.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on radio stations across the country and audience.
If you like that, please download our app. There's lots of fun things there other than just more of the videos you just saw. You can call us from the app. You can email us from the app. Just download it. Trust me, you'll enjoy it.